Monday, March 31st. This is Puck Time. I am Andrew McGinnis. I have Carmine Bianco and Don Buster with me. We're going to break down 3 games, look at prop sides, totals, team totals, best bets at the end of the show. And the wild card race continues to be a fun one to watch. And also the Western Conference, every piece of the puzzle trying to find their spot in the playoffs. Looking forward to a great week here on Puck Time. Carm, it's going to be a little bit of a mixed up schedule over the next couple weeks, not just for me, but also for you. So a lot of different guests going to be on the show, but a lot of great picks to be given out. And it's an exciting time right now to be a hockey bettor. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's going to be a little weird. You're here till Wednesday. I think Wednesday is your last show, and then you're off on Thursday, Friday, and all of next week. So a much, a much deserved vacation for you, my friend. And then, of course, I'm off to Europe for a couple of weeks, but I will be here. We'll have a daily segment as well, too, a brand new segment that you guys are going to really love with a bankroll. And we are going to play games, not an all in or nothing ladder challenge type thing. We are going to try and build that bankroll. We'll call it the road to riches, the road to rags, whatever you want to call it. We're going to try and get some winners out there. And this guy must make so much money, Andrew. He has to come on today's show because he's flying to Vegas. This guy, like, he goes to see the Queen when she was alive, a Royal Ascot. He goes to the Masters. The avocado farms down in Mexico must be making a ton of money. Don Buster, welcome to the show today, brother.
Well, thank you, Carmine. Much appreciated. I don't think I travel as much as you do, Mr. Italy, 10 times to Vegas a year. But you know what? As you get long in the tooth, and Andrew will find this out, you decide it's time to try to do a bunch of living. And that's why we moved to Mexico 10 years ago, to live and to be able to do what I like to do the best, which is gamble. And I can do that from anywhere in the world. So who knows? Maybe in the next 5 years, we'll be going other adventures from Mexico to who knows where. Maybe Canary Islands, maybe Spain, whatever. But you can gamble everywhere on this planet, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's tough for me to do a show on Mondays when the Montreal Canadiens won on Sunday, because you guys are just full of life, man. That playoff battle in the Eastern Conference, teams are crawling for that 8th spot. It remains to be seen who's going to win it, but it sets up to be an exciting 10 games or fewer for some of these teams, a race to the playoffs. So we'll see how that goes. But we're going to talk Minnesota and New Jersey, 2 teams that just played a couple days ago in Minnesota. We're going to talk Calgary and Colorado. Colorado's big home winning run snapped by the St. Louis Blues, who may not lose another game this season the way they're playing right now. The Dallas Stars in Seattle. These 2 teams played in Seattle a couple nights ago, with Dallas easily winning that one. And mixed in between, Andrew's prop segment as well. 2 guys, and then some hopefully some show plays at the end that can get you guys some money. The 6 and 60, 4 and 2 on Saturday. It was pretty good. Obviously, Colorado got upset by St. Louis, and the other one was the aforementioned Minnesota and New Jersey. I figured Minnie would win the first one at home. Jersey would win the second one, which is tonight. Maybe the reverse is going to happen, but a 4 and 2 night day on 6 and 60. So I'm happy about that, Andrew. And with that said, Buster, Minnesota minus 150. Am I reading this correctly? New Jersey plus 130. This has to be wrong as far as the numbers go, unless no, it's New Jersey minus 160, Minnesota plus 135. The total sits at 5.5. 35 sets to the under. We might see another 5 pop up. We saw 5s last week. A couple of them pop up on the screen. One of them yesterday, Winnipeg game was at a solid 5 most of the day. Buster, how are you playing this one?
Yeah, Carmine, I just want to make a little comment first here, because a lot of people that watch Puck Time, a lot of my clients, we put out a 5% play yesterday, and things didn't go our way. I'm not apologizing for it. It just it happened. It was over in the Ottawa game. They didn't even score a goal till overtime. It was just one of those plays, one of those games. I had that game circled to play that game. I do that a lot of times. I've been very successful with my 5% NHL plays for years here, this year especially, but we've had a little bad run, and I just wanted to let people know out there that, yeah, I acknowledge it was a tough night yesterday with that play. So I just wanted to have full disclosure on that one, that people just think I come on here and yeah, believe me, I didn't even effing sleep last night. It was just sickening. So anyways, as I always say, live to fight another day. We have a couple of teams here, like a couple of games on this list, I believe, Carmine, that these teams are playing back-to-back against each other, and this is one of them. New Jersey won in Minnesota, as you mentioned there, on Saturday night, 5-2. But you know what? That game was a lot closer than that score indicates. I actually believe tonight Minnesota's a live dog here. This will be their first game of a 3-game road trip for the Wild, and we always like that little angle for sure. Also, they do have instant revenge, right? You know, they just got beat by these guys, so that's a help. And now it comes to New Jersey. This is actually a really bad spot for them. This will be their 3rd game in 4 nights, and it's the first game at home. So I really like the spot for Minnesota. Gotta love the price, plus 135. So I do like the dog here with Minnesota. As far as the totals at 5.5, it's going to be a pass for us, but I'll just give you a few trends here, a little insight. Minnesota have gone over 6 of their last 10. Have gone under 6 of their last 10. New Jersey have gone over 6 of their last 10. Now, I just mentioned it was 5-2 in the last game. So, well, that's well over the 5.5. But they did score 4 goals. It was a tight game right till the 3rd period. Again, it's playoff hockey. Unfortunately, this playoff hockey hasn't computed unders so far these last 2 weeks if you watch games. The odd game, the teams that are supposed to play unders, like the Kings and that, they usually do. But a lot of these games that are 2 teams fighting for playoffs, they have been playing a lot of overs. I'm going to totally pass this game. I do like Minnesota as a live dog in this one, guys.
All right, Don Buster. Good luck with that lean. I'm looking at the under, Andrew. I like this one. It's 5.5, and I know you have to pay some vig on it. I'm wondering if a 5 will show up at some point. I don't think the vig is going to get any better. It's one that, unlike an over, you can wait the first 5 minutes of a game and get a better get better vig on a play, because you're taking the under here. No goal first 5 minutes. Obviously, the vig is going to come is going to increase. You look at that 5-2 game won by the Devils in Minnesota, and the XG in that game was 248 to 185 for New Jersey. A lot more scoring than what was expected in that game, and it's relevant. It's relevant to how the game was played. They don't cash wagers based on XG. If they did, I think a lot of us would be rich or richer, but like Don Buster. But with that said, Andrew, I'm leaning under in this one. I think it'll be a tighter affair here. New Jersey at home. I think as far as the playoffs go, New Jersey knows that they're getting in. They put together a solid run the last little while. Minnesota should get in unless they completely tank the rest of the season, which I don't see happening for them. So I just expect almost like a playoff type hockey game the second time around. There wasn't anything in the first game that is going to carry over into the second game. Hits, fights that could lead to penalties and power plays. None of that. So 5-on-5, this game should stay under the total. If you get a bunch of power plays, it's going to go against you. But under 5.5 for me, Andrew. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, hard to blame you on that one, Carm. Like looking at I usually go month by month with my XG numbers, and with Minnesota being the 4th worst, and you've got the Devils, I think maybe 10th or 11th worst as far as expected goal created. So these teams aren't really scoring, and then a lot of times when we look at these totals, when the teams play 2 times and only a couple different nights, these back-to-back and revenge scenarios, a lot of times I like to say if the first one goes over, take the second one under. First one goes under, take the second one over. And I think it's just about like, that urgency level, right? Like if you're a player and your line couldn't score, right? You couldn't get anything going in the first meeting. All you can think about until that next meeting is getting back on track and your line scoring. And that's kind of how I feel about the same thing for this one is, if your line gave up a handful of goals, or if you gave up 5 goals, which is the case here for Mini, and of course, final score being 5-2, then we're looking for some defense here in this one, which is the way I'm looking at it. But having said that, I do think that something that I used to always say is, the revenge factor, the rapid revenge factor and stuff like that. But I think that rapid revenge, I'm looking for rapid revenge with teams that I pretty much really want to bet on right now, like teams that I'm really encouraged to bet on. And when it comes down to it right now, I'm not really that encouraged to bet on this Minnesota Wild team. So I would take a look at, there'd be a rare regulation play for me. I haven't played a lot of regulations this season, but I see -105 there for the Devils. I think they can win a low-scoring game here in this one. This is a spot where it's one of those ones where I think that people always say, well, they're not going to beat them 2 times in a row. Well, why can't they? I think this Minnesota Wild team, they're struggling offensively. They're getting shut out here. They're getting shut out there. And then, a couple weeks ago, they were putting up 4 goals a game. So they kind of go in spurts, and I don't really trust them right now. So lean towards the Devils here in regulation. But I do like that under as well that Carmine mentioned. I do think we see a lot lower of a scoring game and a tight game. Maybe even look towards first period under for a really low scoring start and defensive intensity to start off this one. Next one up here, guys, Calgary and Colorado. In this one here, we talked about Colorado being off that loss. Carm continuing to do well with that 6-60, but Carm, it's hard to guess this Colorado team is going to put up 2 goals here in that last game that they had. So can't blame you one bit for that one. 2-1 for the St. Louis Blues. In the last one, the Flames coming off an overtime loss in the Battle of Alberta against the Edmonton Oilers there. It was a late 2-goal rally, or 1 goal in regulation, and the second goal scored by Leon Draisaitl in overtime. So McDavid wasn't back, but Draisaitl was back, and he scored 2 goals to get the job done. But I'll tell you what, guys, whenever I watch this Flames team, every single time I watch this Flames team, really, I think to myself, man, they really rely on their goaltending. Like, really rely on their goaltending. They remind me of, like, the Canadians of a few years ago with Carey Price. Like, any game that they win, it's because of their goalie. And you know what? I got to give them credit because they went on the road against the Devils, against the Islanders, and they got the job done. They won some good road games, and they got the job done. But when it ultimately comes down to it, I think that things are going to start catching up to this Flames team, and people are going to realize that they were relying on goaltending. They were getting some timely goals, and you got a Colorado team that's coming off a loss like they are. They will not be happy about it. And looking at the side, looking at the regulation, looking at the team totals, there's only one way that I want to play this game, and that's for Colorado to come out and win the first period. So I'm going to go to Buster, but I'm playing the Buster special with the +115 first period puck line for the Avalanche to win the first period. 3-way line here. I think they bounce back in this game, but I think they certainly bounce back early on against the Calgary Flames. Look, the Flames are coming off that overtime loss, Buster. They're a good team, and I respect them. But I do think overall this Colorado team will get off to a better first period. What do you think?
Well, Andrew, this is the reason why we do this show on how we all look at games differently. And you were mentioning about how you think basically Calgary's been getting lucky, and there's no doubt Wolf has been playing unbelievable in net for them. But this is a Calgary team that it's do or die for them, right? They are 7 points out of that playoff spot, and they have 3 games in hand on St. Louis. So, and actually, I look at Calgary, and I think they've been playing great hockey of late. They are 4-2. As you said, they lost in overtime to Edmonton. But I tell you, they give up that late goal. They might have deserved a better fate there. That's all I'm going to say about that. The other game that they lost was against Dallas. You look at the score, 5-2. Calgary outshot them something like almost 50 to like 17 or so. They dominated that game, couldn't score. Dallas took advantage where Calgary didn't have very good goaltending that game. And so 6 of their last 6 games, I think they've been playing excellent hockey. Now, as far as Colorado, they know they're in a playoff spot. Yes, they're probably pissed off about losing to the Blues, but the Blues have been playing really good hockey themselves. And that's why I believe this is a kind of do or die game for a team like Calgary. Kind of like Andrew with Montreal playing Florida yesterday. You don't think Montreal's going to beat Florida in Florida, but they needed to win that game just to keep having that chance. And I think Calgary's in that same position. And the problem is Colorado have dominated this Calgary club. They've won 7 straight and 9 of the last 10. And don't you think Calgary knows that? For sure they do. They beat them 4-2 both times this year, both close games. I actually like Calgary because right now you're getting Colorado's minus 250 or 260. The last time Calgary went to Colorado was 190, 200. Now, have they got that much better? I know Calgary's been playing better than they've probably played all year, these last 6, 7 games. So, and you're getting to 1.5 goals minus 120. I really like that play. I like Calgary plus the 1.5 goals to keep this a very close game. And who knows, maybe they upset them like the way Montreal upset Florida yesterday. As for the total at 5.5, it does scream under, but you know what? Both these games have landed on 6, so that means they're both over, right? Calgary has gone 7-2 to the over. Last 9, Colorado 5-3 to the over. Maybe history says that they might be scoring some goals tonight, but as you said, Andrew, Calgary does have trouble scoring goals sometime. I'm going to pass the 5.5, but I really do like Calgary plus 1.5 minus 120.
Man, is this Don Buster or is this Adam Trigger with the plus 1.5s? I like it. Trig does do that a lot in baseball, but the one thing, Buster, that I find tough in trying to take the plus 1.5, and I get it, it could very well happen tonight, is the fact that Colorado's dominated the series between these two teams. You look at their last 10 games against Calgary, they've gone 9-1 in those last 10 games. 7 of those 9 wins have been by 2 or more goals. That coming off of a loss at home in which they only scored a goal to the Blues, snapping an 11-game home winning streak, they're going to want to get right back into that win column. They're in a race right now as well too with the Dallas Stars for that number 2 seed and home ice in the first round of the playoffs. I think home ice is going to be a big thing as far as opening round this year. Colorado's proven they can win on the road, but they would rather have, if it got to that point, Game 7 on home ice. I'm not going to look to fade Colorado at much. I'm not going to lay 270 either. I think it's you're asking for punishment laying minus 270, and even the regulation numbers probably in the 180 range, which I'm priced out of. But if I had to take, I like Andrew's first period play. Colorado get off to a good start after what happened to them. The thing here with Calgary that we have to be mindful of is wait to see who the starting goalie is. Is it going to be Dustin Wolf or is it going to be Dan Vladar? Because they are in Utah tomorrow in a second of a back-to-back. So if you're the Calgary Flames, do you start your best goalie, who right now is Wolf? You start him against a Colorado team that can score a ton of goals at home, or do you start him against Utah, who are 8 or 9 points back of a playoff spot and pretty much winding down their season? I don't think they have a chance to make the playoffs. I would say Vladar. I would use Vladar tonight and Wolf tomorrow. But that's me, Andrew. I'm going to take that first period play along with you.
Let's go. I like it. All about the good first start. That's what it is. All about the good first period. And for a team like, and the funny thing is, it's not like Colorado got blown out. To Buster's point, St. Louis is a good team. Like imagine how Boston feels right now, looking at the coach they had over there going to the playoffs, Jim Montgomery, right? Just taking his St. Louis Blues team to the promised land. But I think a 2-1 loss for for call. I think it's not as much about like they only lost by 1 goal, but it's very rare to see Colorado just score 1 goal. That's the biggest thing for me. It's not like it was a gross loss. It's just like them only scoring 1 goal is a rarity. You just don't see Colorado score just 1 goal. So it's interesting. Okay, speaking of teams, go ahead, Carm.
No, I was going to say, you're absolutely right there. And I was going to lead into obviously the prop segment there. St. Louis is let's give St. Louis credit. They are shutting teams down. If they need to score goals, they are scoring goals. They're playing well right now. Binnington almost seems like, and I talked about Binnington coming out of the Four Nations. He has seemed like a completely different goalie at the moment. And the St. Louis Blues are winning games. They're going to be a tough out for anyone in the first round of the playoffs this season. So it's going to be interesting with the playoffs right around the corner. And I want to mention something to you guys watching. We have a great deal that is going to go live tonight at 8 p.m. On all 3 of our pages. The rest of the NHL season and the playoffs. It's basically a playoff special. $195 gets you every single playoff play, and you'll get the final 2 weeks of the NHL season for free. $195. That is a great deal. That'll be live at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. So if you want to ride with one of us or 2 of us during this last couple of weeks and the playoffs, take advantage of that. And Andrew, before I go to your prop segment, the winner of the PuckTime swag, I had to go through all of the entries again, is someone who posts under the name Pat, P-A-T, P-A-T. So if that is you, send a message to customer service and we'll get you some PuckTime swag on the way. I have one other shirt left, so I'll figure out a contest this week and maybe I'll do it live. Somebody in the live chat as opposed to later on. But with that said, Andrew, give us some prop bet winners.
All right, Carm, I'll keep it short and simple here with this one. That deal that Carm just mentioned is a great one to get the rest of our regular season in the NHL, and of course, plus the playoffs that will go live tonight at our home pages. But I'll tell you what, guys, this play is a little bit chalky here, but you know what? Chalk's been going pretty well lately, especially in the world of college basketball. Well, how about the world of shots on goals? All right. Philadelphia Flyers fire their head coach, and they get Montreal and Buffalo their next 2 games. And Matvei Michkov has 17 combined shot attempts and 11 combined shots on goal. You know, people talk about the coach's firing bump, what it does for a team. When a player gets injured, maybe a team can be inspired. I mean, there's nothing more clear right now than the fact that Matvei Michkov and John Tortorella didn't exactly see eye to eye. And I think, you know, he talked highly about him as a human. He liked the person, but he didn't like the way he played. John Tortorella is too old school to coach a guy like that. This guy is doing the Michigan. He's doing this. He's doing that. And ever since John Tortorella got fired, it's only been 2 games, guys. Michkov has 17 combined shot attempts. We're going to take the over 2.5 shots on goal at minus 144 for Matvei Michkov tonight against the Nashville Predators. When a player is hot, they are hot. And when a team is doing well, you keep betting on them. And when a coach gets fired, typically a team gets going for at least a couple games. The next one is going to be Rupe Hintz from the Dallas Stars to get an assist tonight. 4 of his last 5 games, he has gotten an assist. He has been one of the best players in the NHL since the Four Nations tournament. We're getting plus 105 on this one. I love this number. I like the matchup tonight for Dallas, and I think we're going to see a lot of goals in that one overall against the Kraken. So we'll take Rupe Hintz plus 105 to get an assist, and Michkov over 2.5 shots on goal. You know, Karma, I've brought it up several times, but I always think of Dave Koken betting on all these teams after they fire their coach. And man, this Flyers team, I mean, defensively, they weren't very good on Saturday, but what was the final score of that game? Like 7-6 or 7? I think they put up 7 or 8 goals, like back-to-back games since they fired their coach. Yeah. It's not an accident. These teams, they almost feel inspired after their coaches get fired every time. It's clockwork.
You know, it's a couple things. You know, the thing with Tortorella. You know what I mean? Like we talked about his statement that he made that he's not learning. He doesn't want to learn how to coach in the last 2 weeks of the season. But then there was what went on with Cam York as well too. Obviously, an altercation between the two of them. I don't think they came to blows, but it was an altercation. They sat him for the last 50 minutes of the game. He was benched 10 minutes into I guess their last loss or what have you, and then he was on the bench and didn't play a single minute in the game because he would have been a healthy scratch, but they were short on players, healthy players. So they had to have bodies on the bench. So he's in full uniform sitting there and not watching a single game. And the players on the team to a whole, when you respect your fellow players and teammates, that's when normally you turn on a coach. And it seems like they turned on the coach, and then he buried himself, Tortorella, with his remarks later on. So this team, he's gone. And now all of a sudden they've scored 13 goals and they're looking like a completely different team. And then you listen to what the team is talking about, the players, and they're like, we're going to try and finish this season strong. We're not going to make the playoffs, but we're going to try and finish it strong. They're not going to roll over. Some of these guys want to pad some stats. Some guys want to be there next year. It's under a new coach, and they've got 8 or 9 games to prove that they belong. So we'll see what happens with those, Andrew. Okay, Buster, Dallas and Seattle. Let's get into this one here. These two teams just played a couple days ago in Seattle. Weird scheduling where they play 2 games in Seattle, but Dallas minus 165, Seattle plus 140. The final scoreline of that game was what, 5-1, I think it was in that game. Look at these numbers, Buster. A lot closer than what the final score. 3.45 to 2.79 were the XG numbers in that game in Dallas's favor, so slight favorite there. But Seattle outshot them 36 to 21 in that game. Is this one of those ones where they split the home and home? Or is this one of those ones where Dallas just continues to roll? I'm a big fan of this Dallas team and the way they're playing right now. I kind of hope they catch Winnipeg and get that number 1 seed. But with that said, they're 6 points back. They have a game in hand. This is their game in hand. They could pull within 4 of Winnipeg and still have to play them. Who are you taking in this one?
Well, as you just said, Carmine, these teams just played on Saturday, which was a 5-1 Dallas win, but you just mentioned all that about the XG. That game actually opened up at 180. Then the game went down to 140, 145. Very similar to on Wednesday when we were on the show. And that the Edmonton game, Dallas was like at 155 or 160, and it went down to 130, and that's where it ended up. I guess my point is, like, I'm not sure why that is happening. This Dallas team's getting no respect at all. I actually bet both those games with that drop, and as I said, I gave out Dallas as my best bet on the show last week. I'm not going to make them my best bet this week, but I do like Dallas in this spot. The 165 is starting to get a little bit too high to lay, but especially being a back-to-back and as you said, Carmine, a really weird scheduling spot. Although Dallas has owned these guys, they've won 5 straight games. They've won 8 out of 9, and that does include both games this season. Although that gives Seattle instant revenge from Saturday and in-season revenge. So those are kind of things that, even if you like that other side, you want to maybe stay away from them because of that. But Seattle have been playing terrible. They've lost 4 of their last 5, and they're kind of just playing out the season. But those teams can be dangerous at times. They can be very dangerous. And Dallas are really trying to push to get that top playoff spot you had mentioned with Colorado. I think they're maybe 5 or 6 points ahead of Colorado, but they're kind of almost catching up on Winnipeg. So, I think there's 8 or 9, 10 games left. So they're looking for that number 1 overall spot in case Winnipeg falters a bit. I think they're only 4, maybe 6 points behind. So they're going to want to win the games that they're supposed to win. This is a game that they're supposed to win. I do like Dallas here. As far as the total, The last game did land on 6. I think your XG numbers says it's about the same. So that tells me maybe it's a good total to kind of stay away from. And truthfully, if anything, I would lean to the under only because in the 2 games this year, Seattle has scored once in the 2 games this year. Is that going to change tonight with Dallas really wanting to have this win and Seattle really going through the motions? But they are at home with revenge, all that stuff. That tells me past the total, I like Dallas here.
Buster, I think we're going to end up going like mano a mano here. And it's only because I actually think Seattle can score some goals tonight. I'm not going to call the outright upset of Dallas by Seattle, even though the game's in Seattle. But they have shown in the past that they can score against some good teams. It's just, I can't call the outright upset because when you look at Dallas and you look at even like their last 15 games, where they have only lost 4. They've gone 11-2-2. And those losses came to the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Colorado Avalanche, the Winnipeg Jets, and the Edmonton Oilers. All teams in playoff spots, all very good teams in the Western Conference as well, too. So, and Seattle's not there. But I think Seattle gives them a run for their money if they put up the same kind of numbers as they did in that first game, despite only scoring 1 goal in that game. I think this goes over the total. So I'm going to look at the over 6, lay the 15 cents vig, and hope for some goals tonight. I'll take a 3-3 game or sometime in the second period, and then I can just shut it off and call it a night. Andrew, I'm going to go to your thoughts on this one. Where are you going on this one? Is Dallas going to continue to roll, or are the Kraken going to shock the world tonight?
I think I'm just going to go with the total. I don't have it in me to bet the side in this one. I'm because I don't know. I just think that I think Seattle's going to give a good fight in this one, but it's going to be a good fight defensively. I don't think they win the game, but I think they keep this one a little bit lower scoring. I think they feel embarrassed after that last one. I think it was a completely one-sided game after the last meeting. And it's a quick turnaround. We always talk about the rapid revenge spot. I'm seeing 6.5 for the total, minus 115 to the under. I know necessarily the first meeting didn't go over this 6.5, but Dallas outright dominated offensively. I think that we see a more lower scoring game, 2 goaltenders playing well, Seattle Kraken protecting their own end a lot better. Not to mention now in this game, they are at home. They get the last change. They get to dictate those matchups. So I'm not answering your question, Carm. I'm giving you I'm dodging the question. I'm taking the total here. I'm just going to look towards the under, but I mean, hey, I said it earlier, right? It's not out of the question for these teams today, New Jersey and Dallas, to win both of the games. But we always talk about rapid revenge, and it definitely is a factor. But I think that frustration from Seattle is going to turn into a good defensive effort, which hopefully leads us to the under in this one. So we're going a little bit head to head, maybe, but I think that we're still going to see some goals. I just think that Seattle might kind of do everything they can to keep this one low scoring.
Yeah, 5-2 is. I'm fine with the 5-2 game. I'm fine with a 4-3 game. Anything that gets me over the total of 6, and anyone following along on free plays that gets them over the total of 6. Guys, before we get into the show free plays, do us a favor, hit that like button. This is the best hockey show on the WagerTalk platform. I think it's the best sports show on the WagerTalk platform. I'm even going to go as far as saying it is even better than WagerTalk today. We are talking one sport. We have regular guests coming in. It is absolutely fantastic, and it's produced by Super Bowl winning Dan Alexander. This guy makes us look good each and every day, and as do you guys in our live chat with your comments, sharing of info with each other. And you guys are always respectful of each other, which we absolutely appreciate. So hit that like button if you can. Help the algorithm. With that said, Buster, I'm going to go to you first. What do you have up at WagerTalk, and give us a show free play?
Well, thanks, Carmine. Appreciate it. We still have that MLB opening package going. 7 days of MLB plays for only $49. Also, you had mentioned there's going to be that NHL package coming up for the playoffs. You want to grab that for the playoffs. That's for sure. It's going to be a couple months. Be a good deal for the playoffs, for the NHL playoffs. So head on over to our homepage, WagerTalk.com, Don Buster. Our show play here, well, it's a short schedule tonight, so we're actually going to play a game that's, well, by the sounds of you two guys, it's not going to be quite popular. But I really like the Calgary +1.5, -120 tonight. I just believe they're in desperation mode. They lose this game, that's going to be another game that they just can't get to St. Louis. St. Louis has been playing very good hockey, and maybe they don't catch them. But as a Calgary club, you have to believe that you still have a chance. They might be against it tonight, but I just like the way they've been playing lately. So I think they go in and make a good game, and who knows? Again, like I said, they maybe upset them, but getting a goal and a half, -120, that's a ton of value. So we're going to play Calgary +1.5, -120 for our show play. Carmine and Andrew, I appreciate you letting me come on Monday here. Much appreciated. As you said, going to go for a week of maybe actually going to see a little bit of college basketball in Vegas because they got a new tournament going on, and catch a Golden Knight game. I'm not sure which one I'm going to on Tuesday or Thursday. They play at home. So thanks again for letting me come on today. Appreciate it. Best of luck to everyone in the chat, everyone that will watch this later on today. And as always, have a great day.
Buster, thanks for being on. We really appreciate it. We'll slot you in wherever you need to. Best of luck in Vegas to you. Remember, man, what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for herpes. That stuff comes home with you. So be very careful. With that said, one play up in the NHL for me tonight is a 4% best bet. Yesterday's 4% best bet was a winner with the Leafs in regulation. They got there. So only one play right now. There's that great deal that's going to go live at 8 o'clock, $195 for the rest, or for all of the playoffs, and you get the rest of the NHL season for free. My free play is going to be the Dallas-Seattle. I'm going to take the over 6 in this one. I think we're going to see some goals in this one. The late game of the night with some scoring. Seattle, if they can put up similar numbers as they did as far as shots on goal, expected goals as they did in that first game against Dallas, I think they'll find the back of the net this time around. So give me the over 6 in this one. And Andrew, I'll send it to you for what you have up at WagerTalk and free play and close it out.
Carm, we are going to rock with a 2-pack tonight for the clients. If anything else gets posted out later on in the afternoon, I will tweet about it, let people know. But the best bet for today's show is going to be Flyers, Preds over 5.5. And I think right now, the only team that's dictating this 5.5 is probably the Preds because of their lack of scoring, with 1 goal against Vegas and 2 goals against the Blues, and, struggling overall. But what better team to play right now than the Philadelphia Flyers if you want to score some goals, because the Blackhawks recently scored 7 goals on Philly. The Leafs put up 7 goals on them. The Habs scored 4 on them, and the Sabres scored 4 on them. However, this Philly team also has confidence offensively right now, because in all but one of those games, they scored at least 4 goals themselves. I don't think things are going to go in any different direction than where they're going right now with Philadelphia. And that means over 7-4 was the score in their game on Saturday. I'm not saying it's going to be that easy, guys, but I like the over 5.5 in this one. Nashville and Philadelphia. Guys, we got Wager Talk today coming up at 12 o'clock Eastern time. Do us a favor, smash the like button on this video. We do appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same spot. Wager Talk TV.